It is Open Talk with Les Jackson. We're going to do this thing from Spreaker. They got us on Blog Talk Radio, downloading and upgrading their systems. So tomorrow we'll be on there and you can catch us on that particular network. But right now, you can catch us on Spreaker. And so all you have to do is go to Spreaker.com/Open Talk with Les Jackson 1. That is Spreaker.com/Open Talk with Les Jackson 1. And so for the next 45 minutes, we're going to be with you talking about relationships, family values, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because it is an Open Talk Friday. And I want to start off by saying happy birthday to all my friends on Facebook, Twitter, Blog Talk Radio, Spreaker, Tweeter. You get in where you fit in. I don't know where it is, but you'll be there. Let's Yes, to all my golf friends, we've been sitting back and we've been watching the Masters. It's so good to see Tiger Woods back. It is so good to see him back. He probably won't make the cut today, but he's back. And he played with vigor and he played with the vitality that winners have. And we, the nut is back and at work again. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Every single day, you just don't know what's going to happen to America. That's a different type of relationship. And it's one that's gone bad. I hope he don't run his wife and his family like this, because if he do, no wonder they don't say too much. Because we got one big mess up there in Washington right now, and we got this joker. It's got everybody and anybody that you can possibly think of sitting back and just doing whatever they want. So, it's amazing. It's amazing what goes on. But we are going to talk about, in about 10 minutes, we're going to get into relationships from a family view and from a dating view. For what's going on right now. Because we've taken this thing to a whole nother level. I mean, we done just tore up relationships. And there's a lot of stuff we could blame it on. But at the end of the day, when you close your eyes and you wake up with whoever it is you with, then you got to blame it on what you're doing or not doing in order to keep the love life going. And so, it's enough blame to go around. Plus, we got the get out quick schemes that have been put on by our American government. And so they've made it easier now. You can just walk into a place, you're unhappy, get a divorce. Just get a divorce. And so it's all goofed up. It's all strange. It's all crazy phenomena. And so you have to just sit back and wonder what's going on. So let me get back into this last 10 minutes of this thing that we're going to do, because we want to talk a little bit about everything that's going on because it is open talk. And, you know, I kind of like my weekends. Been watching, like I say, Tiger Woods. He's been doing his thing. And it's been great. It's been great to see. It has been just, you know, a phenomenal thing to watch Tiger Woods do what he does. And to think we had counted him out and people had given up hope, but yet he's back and he's looking pretty dangerous. I give him 6 months of playing time, and he's gonna get him another championship. He's gonna get him another big one. And when he do, that will break all the records. Everybody can sit and rest. He probably now is going to play the best golf of his life. And I love it. I love it. From now on Spreaker, we'll be live for 45 minutes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday. And the times will be in the morning time opposed to the afternoon time because we want to do our morning show there. So you're going to see a lot of my face. You're going to hear a lot of my voice because it's just, you know, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy intermingling with people from all over the world and sitting back and able to talk with them and share experiences and to share photos and things of that nature that normally we wouldn't see. Just like I received a photo from a couple of people I know in the Philippines, and they were showing me the living conditions, and you know, it's sad. It's sad on how everybody else is living, and here it is, we were, and notice what I said, we were the greatest country in the world. Now, folks, after the Trumpism is taking hold and taking place, have started to lose their confidence, and we're living in fear. We're living out of a trick bag. Because we don't know. You know, I'm like, you know, when he first started running, I think it was Hillary Clinton or one of them said, I'd be scared to have him laying next to that nuclear button to blow the bomb. Man, I'm afraid this joker might roll over, man, during his tweets and sit back and hit the thing. You know, and I think they tried that back in Hawaii earlier. See, that was the real deal. They picked Hawaii and they did this just to see what would be the reaction. And it was total chaos. And then, in order to cover it up, see, he's so slick about covering everything up because all he wants to do is cover up and lie. I mean, you know, covering up and lying is Donald Trump's best assets. He wasn't that great of a salesman. I don't think his love life is that great because he done been through 3-4 wives. And this new one, she had filed abuse charges on him, but yet he's not an abuser. Let him tell it. That's right. That's right. He's not an abuser. He just sits back and just, he's a control freak. You know, I think he just sits there and rather bully you and push you around. And I wonder, after he lays down at night, does he ask his wife, how did I rate? How are my ratings? But back to the street life. I was looking at a thing yesterday about a man who was in a mobile wheelchair. and he hit a pothole. I don't know how he hit this pothole, or, they didn't go into no whole bunch of detail, but they said the main cause, he hit the pothole. The pothole threw him out the car, and he got ran over. I think I posted that yesterday. It happened on yesterday, and it was during the night, so I guess he couldn't see that well. At least it had gotten dark. Let's put it like that. And so, it's bad. It's just bad everywhere. All kinds of stuff is happening. We see a breakdown in business relationships, political relationships. We see breakdown in friendships, which are relationships. We see countries going against other countries. All of these different things are like, reflect on how you would run a relationship. And now that we've gotten into this thing, and I think we're going to go into this right now. Let's go into this. Let's talk a little bit about relationships. Because relationships should be highly valued in any shape, form, fashion, anywhere it takes place. And when it comes to men and women in today's era, everybody is so spoiled and everybody wants what they want, to where we've tried to change the game, but the game doesn't change, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when the thrill is gone and when it's all over and you've ran and you've played and you've cheated and you've done everything that you could, been forgiven, forgave, and all of this, it boils down to this. In order to have a good relationship, you must understand, first of all, that it takes work. A good relationship starts with work. You have to work together. You have to sit back and you have to adorn the person that you're with. And it's not your mate. Let's get that out of our vocabulary. It says help meet. See, even if you look at the early relationships, people were working together, men and women. It wasn't no such thing as what we got now, where women want it all. But yet they complain about the man wanting sex. And so when you start breaking this down, what it allocates to is that you see more cheating going on, because if you don't do this, then this one goes sour like a baby on you. And if it goes vice versa. And let me tell you something. For a man, might not be for a woman, but for a man, the art of making love is a key component of him taking care of that household and not cheating on you in your relationship. And you have to build a relationship. It's not going to always be sunny. It's not going to always be gloom if you're working together. But there are people out there right now, we don't even know, I don't think we even know how to have relationships no more. It just amazes me that I really don't think that we have the capacity to sit back and to love and respect and to honor one another the way we ought to. See, I'm not going to go into the kings and queen thing. I'm just going to go like this. Treat a man like a man should be treated, and he'll treat you better than you've ever been treated. And that's what a woman has to realize. It wasn't that you were placed here to dominate anything. You got tricked, you got fooled, you got bamboozled by the women's rights movement. And the women that started that movement, they were still with their husbands, still living in their homes, making that money and getting them contributions, and at the same time sabotaging the minority families. Because they started teaching you stuff like, and this is what kills me, we started to teach people that I can shoot bad all by myself. Yeah, you can shoot bad all by yourself. But the goal, the real issue is not to try to shoot bad in a relationship. The working part is trying to make it come together. See, this is why our children are so messed up, because we don't want a man in the house no more. Women don't need men, they say. But yet, you still constantly come to us and ask us for our 15 cents. But we talking about we want to build relationship. And I mean, people really fall for this. And it's a difference in being a prostitute and being a wife. See, a wife handles that business in that house. She doesn't have to gossip amongst her friends and talk about her relationship in a blow-by-blow perspective, unless it is an abusive relationship, which we'll get into in a little while. But for the most part, we've made it too dadgum easy, and we're starting to put too many different et ceteras behind every key word. You know, it's no way that two people can become one if one is going on to the north and the other one going to the south. It'll never happen. The relationship will not last. You've got, like I said, I run into more people that have sat back and you know, I you know what, I give crackheads and drug addicts and alcoholics more props when it comes to relationships, because a lot of times they will work through the issue and they know what the issue is, but you got people that so-called don't do anything. And they are so quick to give up. We are so quick to throw in a towel because we don't want to do anything. We want everything just served to us on this silver platter, and you can't serve a relationship on a silver platter, because each and every day you and your loved one is going to face something different. And men, we got to start respecting our women for who they are. If you chose her for a reason. I suggest that we start going back and reevaluating before we even jump off into the thing. Because it can be a nightmare. And then we complain about having to pay child support and all this, but we brought it on ourselves for the quick fix. Reminds me like my grandmother and grandfather, my mother and father. Matter of fact, most of the people in my family were never divorced. I think I got two relatives that I know of that got divorces. Might be about 4 of them, because there's not a whole bunch of us left. But it's amazing. I'm telling you, it is amazing to sit back and to see what we think relationship is all about in this day and age, when we ought to know better, we ought to be able to do better, and we ought to understand that in today's society, a world where, hey, look, I love the finer things in life too. But I don't see too many women going out there breaking their back or breaking their neck to sit back and go make the bacon and come and give me. Now, I'm just speaking for myself. Because I don't see. I don't see it, and I don't think I ever will see it. Even when I was in like my first marriage. And it was a good relationship to a degree. But I understood that my ex-wife loved to be miserable. And I like to be happy. Then it ain't gonna work. Because you got too much of a difference. A lot of people run that story on you about, opposites attract. Yeah, they might attract for the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But it can't be no relationship if you can't find something in common. And that you willing to sit back and work through the rest of the issues. Because we all got some issues. I can't sit back and say that I'm issue free. But I be hearing like women, like what y'all do is y'all can't let stuff go. And y'all will go back 10, 5, 2, year before. Go back and pull up something that ain't got nothing to do with this point in time. But you'll pull it up and you'll make an argument out of it. Well, men, they may come home and they may argue because they ain't got no food on the table, or they may be had a bad day and then got beat down at work and they tired. And I want you to sit back and you put this read in between the lines and put all the other stuff in there that you need to put in, because this relationship thing that we got going on now, it is terrible. It's terrible. I mean, you got something like 48% of marriages breaking up. And then you got women. I noticed that women that be out there, they done everything and up under the sun, done had 5 or 6 babies by a different daddy. And that's just, it could be disastrous. Because you sabotaging yourself before you even get into a real relationship. So you really don't know what you want because you ain't never really been in a relationship. For me to just go out with you and you my girlfriend like in junior high, I didn't want no relationship. I just wanted to get to some punana and keep on stepping. And we knew it wasn't going to be no relationship. I remember there was a young lady that told me, and she was a girl that really one of the only few women that I ever fell in love with. And she told me, she said, look, I don't want to have a relationship. I got one son out of wedlock. I ain't going to have 2. And then I don't want no relationship because I'm this. And come to find out that what her biggest thing was, the biggest issue is she went both ways. Now, I was kind of devastated by that for a minute, but we got along and had a perfect relationship. Our families knew each other. They sat back. They hung out. I mean, it was strong. And then when it was over, it was just over. It was no remorse. We still talk every month to this very day. Call and wish each other happy birthday and check on the families. And I mean, it's like that. But who wants to come home to a house full of confusion? Nobody wants to sit back and have to argue and fuss and fight. And that's another thing that's making relationships bad. I don't know who told men that they had to beat on women. If a woman don't automatically give what you supposed to have, what she's supposed to do, take care of her womanly duties, then you just done got stuck with a nay-nay. You done got caught up in the sauce and you allowed yourself, because you didn't have no reasoning or any criterias to what a relationship was. And you start looking at these people, they talking about how hard it is, and they want to be in a relationship, but yet they ain't willing to do no work. The first thing women ask you now is, how much money you got? I mean, they'll come off from the rip, right off the rip cord, talking about your money. But now don't ask them how much money they got. And let me ask you this. In a relationship, do you think it's okay, building up to the family, building up to this relationship, do you think it's okay for the woman to pay the bill? You know, you go out, let's say you go out and you go to a nice restaurant. Every now and then, baby, I want you to do it. Show me that you can work with me and not work against me. And men, it's the same way. I mean, stop thinking that every time that, you know, there are certain times when I guess if you just don't feel like doing it, you just don't feel like doing it. But dadgum now, you need to, at least when you're young, you need to try to do it about 3-4 times a week, if you're going to build a strong relationship. That's my point of view. And see, I don't care about Dr. Spock, Dr. Ruth, Dr. none of them. Because I've already got embedded in me from watching what my mother and father went through and how they would sit back. You know, like, how many of y'all go to bed mad at each other? Next thing you know, and see, this is the trick to it. And I hate to blame it on devil or anything. I hate to use his name like that. But I have to by saying this. This how he fools us to thinking that the relationship ain't working and get us to go out there and start the cheating, because he'll show us where, look, man, you ain't getting nothing out of this. You just working your butt off and she ain't trying to do a thing for you. Or either your girl, your woman, whatever you want to call her, your queen, she get to talking to the other girls who ain't been in a relationship, and they giving her advice. Now, who you gonna take advice from? Somebody that ain't never been there, or somebody that at least got some type of experience. Somebody that got a story behind why they did what they did. But we got to work on building these relationships up, because, you know what? Right now is so important. Our kids are growing up dysfunctional and disgruntled because of the lack of relationship and communication amongst their mama and dad. And like two adults, I should never have an adult-child relationship. A child ain't got no business in my business. Not when it comes to that person I'm with. And see, now, as I get older, I find that one of the number one reasons is, and my grandfather always told us this, he say, never let the sun go down on you without straightening out whatever the conflict is between you and your wife. And him and my grandmother, I know it was some nights, because he had to experience this in order to speak on it. I know it was some nights that they sat up and they talked together, because you could hear them in there whispering. They wasn't whispering, but they had the door closed up. So they was whispering or either doing what they had to do to make it right. But they would talk about everything, just like you shouldn't even lay down and think about indulging in any type of love making. And let me tell you, it's a difference between love making and having sex. Because if you having sex in your relationship, and I'm not saying you don't have sex, but if you basing it all, if it's just sex to you, then you vulnerable and open for somebody else to come and walk in the door. You might as well have a sign on your back or on your chest. And people will tell you, women tell you big, I'm in a relationship. Are you married? No, well, you're not in a relationship. You just going with somebody. That's why they came up with the word go with. I go with this person. This is my boyfriend, my girlfriend. This is my man or my woman, But a relationship can only be held between a husband and a wife. Now, we try to differ it. We try to put in and sugarcoat it and make it where women can love women and men can love men, and maybe don't, maybe so. I mean, I've seen some awful strong relationships, but I see just as much battling and bickering and arguing going on in their lives as I do everywhere else. And then the main thing from having a relationship is it makes two of you become one, and then you have the child, and you bring up a child, and now you got a family. See, if it can't be done like that, then you don't have a family. It's not a real relationship. It's some fantasy thing or a malfunction or something. It's more of a friendship than it is a relationship. Just like, I sit back now, it's like I'm literally taking applications. I literally have to write out an application and ask women certain questions, and they got to pass. And then I tell a person, what's really going to draw me to you is you got to make my heart flutter. Or you got to bring some skin to the game, as they say. You got to have some meat to put on the table. But then some people don't like that. Well, if you both of y'all can agree that, hey, we can go out and eat out all the time, go ahead. But I like mine to cook. Get on the stove and burn a little bit. Just like you expect me to go out there and hold the family together and keep the money flowing. And money got a big thing to do with relationships too, because the overall view and consensus that's out is that money plays the biggest home wrecker than anything else. Then comes infidelity. So, we got to sit back and start really looking at what's happening and see how they just done broke up and see that what they did to the poor black families and to the poor people all around the way. They tried to break them up. They broke them up because they knew a divided house couldn't stand. And see, in a relationship, y'all both got to be strong for each other. If you see me slacking, you supposed to have my back. If I see you slacking, I'm supposed to have your back. Plain and as simple as that. We supposed to have each other's backs. And that's love. Love is unconditional. Matter of fact, it say the only time that you ought to break off a relationship is if you catch the person in bed with somebody else. It don't even say if they tell you to stay in bed with somebody else. Because see, people say stuff just to say it. But you got to catch them. And this abuse. I got to hit on this for about 3 minutes. Men have a natural instinct to be combatant. But when you start beating on a woman, and she's supposed to be your wife, she's supposed to represent you. Would you like it if somebody was beating you? And there are relationships where the woman beats the man. But would you want to be in something like that? And you have to find out, where's this person's mindset really at? Are they going to be working with me, or are they going to be working against me? That's one of the major questions I ask. And I also ask, like I say, how much skin is you bringing into the game? What do you have? Don't worry about what I got. What do you have? What are you offering? You know. What is it that you going to sit back and you going to help make this relationship a whole relationship? See, all this, I tell you something else about a relationship. Stop doing this 50-50. Okay, understand what 50-50 means. That means it can swing either way at any given time. If you can't give 100, then don't expect 100 from me. Because I'm trying to build 100 and 100. I want a 200% relationship. 100 from me and 100 from you. I want all of you, just like you say you want all of me. Because that's what makes a strong relationship, and it keeps a family together. See, like I say, we put too much value on the glories. Just like the woman's jewel, the goodie box. That's an important key to a man. Where a man's erectional part is not that key to her. But yet it is key to her. Because she wanted to be good in bed. She wanted you to be good at work. She wanted you to bring home the bacon. She wanted you to do her hair. She wanted all this stuff from you. But then she can't never do nothing for you. And y'all better learn to stop holding back. Don't hold it hostage. Call yourself trying to beat somebody down and not give them none. Because all you do is run the person out of attraction. We talking about relationships. This is Open Talk with Les Jackson. I am Les Jackson. And we're right here on Spreaker. SpreakerRadio.com. We also will be podcasting this starting Monday. We're going to start doing the podcast, and you may catch us on iHeart now and also on YouTube. I know we're on there, and so they'll be downloaded probably a little bit later on, and you can catch them at a later time. iHeart will be live, just as we are right now. But I mean, like I said, in everything that you do, it's a relationship. That's why people can't hold down jobs. Because they don't know how to be in a working relationship. See, everything got relationship connected with it. because it's a major instrument and tool in life. And the better you understand a relationship, then the better you come out. You can drop me an email at opentalkless1@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you think about this show, so I can go ahead and I can share it and let you know and answer you back. And like I say, I'm not no, I just call myself the Black Love Captain. I'm not no doctor. But I like to enjoy. Like I tell people, I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I don't believe in sitting back. I believe in that old chivalry. I believe that men want their women to look very well when they step out, because they do represent them. But I also think that the woman ought to want her man to be happy. See, so it works together for good. And in today's society, especially when you got to have almost 3 jobs to have a family, we got to get on our P's and Q's. I mean, you got people now that's sitting back in the house and they married. And one is in one room, one is in the other room. Well, that's cool sometimes, but every now and then I like to cuddle up, watch a good movie together, and sit back and maybe turn on some good soft love music and do a little dance, and we can dance right there on the dance floor and sit back and have a little fun. Take out, you go out, you eat dinner, or go to a show, play, whatever. Long as we ain't talking movie theaters. Because I just don't do the movie theater thing now that all this stuff is on TV. But it's all good. But when we start coming to the relationship and we looking for negatives, you gonna find whatever you look for. See, if you wanna put the work in to build, and notice I say build because what you're doing, you building an empire amongst the two of you. But you two are no longer two, you've become one. Once you get married, ain't no longer me and me. It's ours. You know, now when I go with you, leading up to the prelude of marriage and a relationship, then maybe that sounds pretty good. I can get off into the me thing as much as allowed. But then you can't get mad because the man or the woman decided she ain't going to give you what you want because she ain't satisfied with what she getting as a reward. But see, a relationship is totally different than going with somebody. It's totally different. It's a game that is played for keeps. You know, see, I hate to lose. And I sure would hate to lose the game of love. Because it don't come around often, and it's hard to meet Mr. or Mrs. Right. It ain't no easy task, especially in this day and age. Because it's so much outside interference. And people are not taking time enough to really have that alone time. That time to be with who that person is. To really get to know who a person is. See, and that's what you should be doing while you're dating, leading into the prelude. The prelude to a good relationship and building one is first get to know this person. You know, I know people that just want to jump up and just do something. Like I say, I was telling a young lady the other day, I won't even talk about marrying you if you don't make my heart flutter. Because something don't be right. But if you make my heart flutter, then I'll sit back. I can wait till hell freeze over, and it ain't gonna happen. But I can wait to be with you, and we'll try to convince you. On that note, good evening, everybody. Have a good weekend. This has been Les Jackson.